So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they making oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. Devils design fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said so. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right. That's right.
One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
expected to grow. Just obstacles set in the road that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. Main fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angels, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom, we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You see just how it feels, baby.
All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom. Can everybody hear me all right? Y'all can give me a 1 in the chat if y'all can hear me all right. Let me know. Let me know if everybody can hear me okay. All right, shalom, shalom. Everybody can hear me all right. The water. All right. We had a Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge started out of 1 West 125th Street under Commander General Yohana, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite or Christian group. Tonight is the history class, and as you all can see from the title, we're going to get into we're going to get into the benefits and the need for Black masculinity. Although everyone on the planet wants to talk about how so-called toxic masculinity and all these different terms, the emasculation of so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native American brothers is absolutely rampant, and it's absolutely against the Most High. So we're going to get into that tonight. But first, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Flaki. Yahweh Shem Yahshua to the sisters. Yahweh Shem Thun by Hashem Yahweh Shah. All right. Everybody make sure you check in for class. Make sure you put your name, city, and state so you can get credit for your attendance. All right. Got a few folks in here already. The water for y'all coming in and checking in. All right. Let's see. Got the brother Stephen Baldwin out of Norfolk. Shalom, brother. Officer Yagadar in the building. Shalom. Shalom. Oh, and by the way, the water, that 10 cup was what's up, Officer Yagadar. The water for that recommendation. That was what's up. All right. Let's see. Got Trooper Kazaki in the building. Shalom, brother. All right. Who else? We got Sister Aisha in the building. Shalom, sis. Who else? Let's see. Got Officer Yagadar's rib in the building as well. Shalom, shalom. Yeah, damn right. That was damn right. Damn right. I appreciate it. Appreciate the recommendation. That's what's up. All right. Let me see. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the topic, get into the discussion. And I'm hoping to get some good participation from the sisters tonight, because typically, especially if you come into these classes, and honestly, even the sisters, for what I'm about to say, this is not going to really apply. For you coming into these classes, coming into the ISUPK or whatever, you are probably going to understand a lot of what we will be teaching this evening, but the world typically does not. All right. So And I'm hoping to get some participation from my sisters for two reasons. One, hopefully, it'll, give a discussion if a sister has a difference of opinion. But if not, if any other sisters happen to watch this video later and they are not in the truth, hopefully they will get some great insight from my sisters as they chime into these classes. I mean, specifically tonight's topic. All right. So let me ask, we always like to get the participation going. Let me ask general question. Why is masculinity so important to our community? Our communities is Black, so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Why is masculinity so important to our community? Who wants to give me some perspective on that? All right. Wayward, wayward aesthetic, I believe is what that's supposed to say. Rocky, if you can check in with your name, city, and state, that would be preferable. All right. But you are absolutely correct for family leadership. That is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. So Yagadar's real said because we were stripped from it during slavery. That is also true. She is absolutely right. That was taken away from us, and I'm glad you phrased it that way because it's so the subtleties are so important, and that's how you know this is a sister who was in the school, right? She said it was stripped from, or it was taken from us, right? It was taken away from us collectively. That is something that was taken away from our community, and it's important for our community. The world will tell you that's just a thing for a man. The world will tell you it's not important for women to be concerned about a man being masculine. If anything, the world will tell you it's better if he's not. That was an excellent way that you put that, sis. I appreciate it. Triple Kazaki says leadership. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Officer Yagadar says there's no community without men. That's true. Give me a little bit more though. Expound on that a little bit for me. You're absolutely right, but give me a little bit more. My rib is in the building. Shamal the thumb by Slacky. I was Shamal by thumb by Shemi Awashai. All right. Give me a little bit more. Anybody else? Why is masculinity important to our communities? Give me some specifics. Like we've been talking about leadership, and that's absolutely true. But now give me some specifics. What does leadership in our communities provide? What does it provide? How do we benefit from leadership, masculine leadership in our communities? All right. All right. My rib said gives protection and guidance to women and children. Give that sister a hand. That is absolutely correct. Protection and guidance to our women and our children. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. And what happens when we don't have that protection and guidance? Give me some more on that. What happens when we don't have the proper protection and guidance in our community? What's the aftermath of that? Officer Yagdar says men are the defense, the strength, the order. The entire structure falls without men. That is absolutely true. And we can see that clearly in our communities. We clearly see that. in our communities today. When you look back and think about shortly after slavery, when it was just us together, when we weren't being affected by, well, we're going to get into it, but we weren't being affected, and brothers were men, right? Strong, masculine men. Back then, we didn't have the kind of problems that we have now in our community. We didn't have it. We absolutely did not have it. So we can see how it's fallen apart, how communities have been destroyed. And that's definitely a huge part of it, a huge part of it. And we're going to get into how that has not been accidental. All right. Let's see. Brother Stevens said, show and represent how strong we are as people. I think I know what you mean. Give me a little bit more. When you say show and represent, show and represent. Help me understand exactly what you mean when you say that. Who are we showing and representing to? I just want to make sure I got where you're going there. All right. Triple Kazaki, give him a hand. We become a disciplined people. Exactly. We become a disciplined people. And why is that so important? Why is it important to have discipline? Because following these laws, statutes, and commandments takes discipline. It takes discipline. You have to be in control of yourself. You have to be in control of your emotions. That's the thing that our sisters oftentimes don't really care for when it comes to strong masculine men. You're not gonna get a whole lot of emotion out of us. Typically, we're not gonna show a lot because we are, and it's not that we don't want you to see it. It's just that we're in control of it. We're in control of it, so you don't see a lot of that. But that is a discipline. That is a discipline, and it benefits our community because if we are in control of our emotions, we don't make emotional decisions. We use our brains and our logic rather than our emotion. 9 times out of 10, if you're making a decision based on how you feel about a thing, you're gonna make a bad decision. You're gonna make a wrong move because you're not properly thinking through it. And that is one of the ways. And listen, sisters, some of y'all may not like what I'm about to say. Y'all may not like a lot of this class. I don't think so, because the sisters in here are strong. Sisters in here understand. But that's one of the reasons why being a strong masculine man is so important to the community for that guidance, for your woman and your children. We need to be able to make sound decisions, give sound advice, and make sure that everyone is taken care of. That's the protection piece. That's our job. That's absolutely our job. We can't do that if we're not disciplined in our emotions and in our actions. Wonderful point, bro. All right. Oxyacodon's rib said protection. That is true. That's absolutely true. We are there to protect. That was another part of our job. All right, feminism. I believe that Sister I is saying that that's what happens when we don't have. How did you phrase that, sis? Give protection to a woman, right? And I was asking what happens when it breaks down. I think that you were saying. Oh, here we go. Yeah, she said feminism, soft men. That is a definite result of not having the masculinity in the community, in the family, in the home. When you are a soft man, you're going to raise a soft child. A soft young man, right? If you are absent, all these single parent homes where these women are raising these boys, they grow up to be a completely emotional men until they come into the ISUPK and they get around some masculine men and they learn how to have the discipline to rein that in. Until then, they're typically just effeminate, emotional, and soft. This is what has happened to our people over the course of decades. All right. And actually we can go back centuries, and we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back. All right, Wayward Aesthetics said lawlessness. Give me a little bit more on that. Give me a little bit more on that, brother. Or sis, look, I would appreciate you checking in. I'm not even sure who I'm talking to right now. All right. Oxyacodon's rib said we were where we're at now in our community. Right. The breakdown. That's exactly where we are in our community. That's exactly where we are. Vulnerable women allowing the oppressor into our homes. Give her a hand. Listen, removing, first of all, that started, what she's talking about, what Sister I is talking about, started with making sure that our neighborhoods and our communities were oppressed and impoverished. That's how it started, making sure that our communities were oppressed and impoverished. And then the government comes in, the oppressor comes in and says, you know what, lady? You're a strong black woman. You don't even need him. And guess what? I'll help you. I'll help you take care of your family and everything. You just got to get him out of here. He just can't be here. If he's here, I'm not going to help you. If he's here, I'm not going to help you. But if you can make sure he's not here, I will give you some money. I will pay you to make sure that you have a single family home, a single parent home. You don't have a man and your children don't have a father. Now, they didn't phrase it that way, which goes back to what the sister is saying. If a man is there, when these kind of discussions start to happen, and a masculine brother who is the leader of his home, whoa, I'm not going nowhere. Matter of fact, we don't need you. And as a community, we would not need it. If we stuck together, if we were together, as the scripture always says, I always quote is Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. If we gathered ourselves together, we would not, there would be a need for welfare. There wouldn't be a need for welfare. We didn't need welfare when it was just the community itself together. We didn't need welfare in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We didn't need welfare in Jackson Ward and Richmond. When we were together functioning how we were supposed to, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. But the closer we wanted to get to the suppressor, the closer integration got, the closer those things started happening, the more our community started breaking down. And now there's a need. There's a financial need. And the greater that grew, the more pressure it was on. We got to figure out something. Here comes the oppressor with these gifts that spoil a heart, as the scriptures say. Here comes the oppressor with some money. Just make sure you don't have a man and your children don't have a father. But if a man was there, then that wouldn't happen. That would not have happened. Let's see. Obviously, Raj says masculinity builds powerful men. Powerful men build powerful families. Powerful families have influence. Influence changes the state of the kingdom. Absolutely right. I could not have said that any better. That's why God loves masculinity. That's why God loves Black, Latino, and Native American masculinity, because it builds our families. It builds the influence, and then it makes a kingdom what it's supposed to be. That is absolutely right. We are prey and food to all the other nations without our men. Absolutely. And we're seeing that right now. Listen, the feminist movement, sorry, sisters, the feminist movement got y'all. They got y'all. This alternative lifestyle movement is about to get y'all again. That one's about to get y'all again. That's why. So they got y'all initially with the feminist movement, because again, you don't need a man. You don't need a man. Now you got to go to the government. Now your homes are destroyed. Now your family, now your children aren't being raised by a man. I saw one thing, I think it was, I don't know, it was on Facebook, it was somewhere on social media. And it says something about, the oppressor's government came in and decided they were going to be the father in Black, Latino, and Native American homes. And then when those children got older, the American government came back for them. They came back for them. Who can guess how they came back for them when these children, when our children got older? It's still happening now. Who can guess how this government came back for them? Hey, the water, brother. William from Montrose, Virginia. The water for that. I appreciate it. Who can guess how the government came back for the children that they were raising when they broke up our families? Officer Krishan in the building. Shalom, brother. Let's see who can guess how the government came back for our family. Here goes another one. Another answer. Our boys end up mimicking our women. It's exactly how we have these emotional young men. It's exactly how we have these emotional young men who turn into emotional old men. The only or the main guide they saw was their mother. The main guide, the main the main influence they had on how they should manage their emotions was their mother. But when that happens, you're going to be, again, just an emotional man. That's not how we should be conducting ourselves, but that's what ends up happening. You have young men who turn into older men, who turn to, and all they know how to do is be emotional and be effeminate. And then when we go out in the street and talk about it, now we're too masculine. That's where toxic masculinity comes from. No, I mean, it don't come from us, but you get my point. This idea that a man having a masculine nature is somehow wrong is the most backwards thing in the world. It's the most backwards thing in the world. So she's absolutely right. Our boys end up mimicking women, which obviously leads easily to alternative lifestyles and alphabet communities. Stephen Baldwin said it again. Yes, we become disciplined when we are masculine. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Listen, this is right. So now men can come on their flout. Listen, this kingdom is so backwards. Everything about it is wrong. Everything about it is wrong. So you got what they say is, like, I can't get myself together. I was having a conversation with a young brother, and we were talking about the whole trans community. And I asked him, I said, well, just yes or no. Can women have, assuming that all of their anatomical parts are operating correctly, can women have children? And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not making this up. He looked at me and said, maybe. He looked at me and said, maybe. And the maybe, the premise of it was this. If you were born a male, it's like if you were born a female, and all of your your reproductive organs are working properly, yes, you can have a baby, as long as you identify as a woman. But if you are born a male and identify as a woman, then clearly you can't have children. So not all women can have children. This is what this society is teaching. This is what's accepted now. And it's getting worse and worse to the point that if you don't fully acclimate and bend to this, then you're looked at as an oppressive type of person. You're looked at as oppressive because you won't call a female a man. That's how she identifies. But yet we cannot say that we are Israelites. We can't say that. But this brother, with all rod and all, can say he's a woman, and you have to acknowledge it, or you're wrong. The stuff is crazy, and that was one of the things that was happening. They're walking around talking about, well, and that's how they're calling now our sisters. They're not just women; they're cis women. What is that? Don't listen. I'm not a cis man. I'm just a man. The sisters in here, they're not cis women. They're women. That's what it is. Period. There's no reason. There's nothing else to go on with to. That's it. But that's what they're trying to do now. And that's why I say, well, we're gonna go back into it. But she's absolutely right. They're trying to claim every part of being a woman as much as they can. All right, let's see. Sister Aisha said. She said, "I'd rather be single. The men today are not right, and it seems to get worse, especially with men concerning religious men. Not all, but many, and no disrespect to anyone." Okay, listen. I think you're absolutely right. I think you're absolutely right because my opinion, and of course it's a little biased, but I think there's a lot to support what I'm about to say. Brothers that's not in the ISUPK, they're probably pretty feminine. They're probably not serious. They're probably not disciplined. There's a lot of things that they're not. There's a lot of things that they're not. You know, that's not exactly a false statement. But what I would say is this: is there's still a benefit. There's a benefit. There's a natural benefit to a child growing up in an environment where he has a mother and a father. There's a benefit to that, and I think, matter of fact, I know, and we're gonna get into it. That's a huge part of why our communities are in the shape that they're in. A huge part of it. Obviously, that's not following the law, statutes, and commandments. All of these are byproducts of that. All of our oppression. Well, not all of it, because this oppressor is a savage. But us being in this state began with us not following the law, statutes, and commandments. But there is a benefit to having a child grow up in a family and an environment where he has his mother and father. All right, I get what you're saying. Brothers out here need to wake up, just like our sisters out here need to wake up. Right, brothers out here need to do better, just like our sisters out here need to do better. All right, so I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just in driving home the importance of both parents being involved with those children as they grow up. All right. Let's see. Okay. Give Officer Yagadar's rib a hand. Jail and the military. That is how this oppressor comes back for his children. Once you push the man out of the house, now we have all these effeminate brothers coming up. We don't have any masculinity to show them that you need to have some discipline. We don't have any of that. And then they go out into the world and they do everything that their emotions tell them to do. Next thing you know, they're involved in all these crimes, trying to get money, whatever. And then he says, no problem. Come on, and I got a place for you to be for the next few years. That's the same deal. Listen, even our communities, as far as the gangs are concerned, when you actually hear the perspective of a lot of those young men, who's ever listened to that and when asked what made them want to get involved in the gang, who's ever heard the answer? It's a relatively consistent answer. If anybody's heard that, go ahead and type that in the chat. But absolutely right. Jail and military. Trooper Kazaki said the same thing. Join the military. That's one of the ways. The other way is that they go right into is again the school to prison pipeline. Goes right in there. Damn right. Officer Yagadat said if they ain't in UPK, they in the damn way. Damn right. Absolutely. Family. Family is one of the answers. Family is one of the answers. The other answer that I typically have heard, y'all are on it, wanting to belong, looking for a family. You know what? I'm not even gonna tell y'all the answer yet. So this is the deal. Do we think, and this is to Sister Raya and Officer Yagadar's red, family wanting to belong, looking for family. All right. Do we think that these individuals are orphans, or do we think they probably came up in single parent homes? Y'all let me know. Orphans or single parent homes? Y'all let me know. I see a couple other answers that are right in line. But I want to kind of walk the sisters there a little bit, because those are answers that I've heard also. Those definitely are answers that I've heard also, but I want to make sure you all are getting the concept of what's being said subtly, if that kind of makes sense. All right, a couple more answers. Okay, all right. Also, Yagadar's rep said both. So she's saying that they're both orphans and they came up in families. Okay, let's say that's the case. I don't have no sweat. All right. This is my point. For those who anybody that's an orphan, sure, I could give them that all day long. But I think there's probably a higher percentage. Hold on. Let me see. All right. And Brother Williams said single parent. I think there's a higher percentage that are probably in single parent homes. And the reason that is because most people, when they join gangs, it's just in their neighborhood. It's wherever their block is, that's typically where they are. And the reason why the family thing, I just want to make sure everybody's understanding what's being said. If they're coming up in a single parent home, well, they have a mother. They probably got some siblings. They have family. They have family 9 times out of 10 that they're living with. Whether it's a grandmother, whether it's a aunt, it's somebody that they have that's family. What's typically lacking is a male role model, a strong male role model in these young men's lives. The only ones that they see typically are the gangsters on the corner. So what do young men naturally do? They naturally imitate a man if there's one around, especially a strong man. If there's one around, they're gonna go emulate that. They're gonna look up to that. That's a natural thing. When that's taken out, now you have an imbalance, and they're going to go looking for it. And if they can find it, this is the closest spot. These some strong brothers. They showing me love, so on and so forth. There we go. So you're not wrong in saying family, but I just want you to make sure we all understand what really is being said. It's not just family. It's the love of a strong black man. And then we get it so twisted because we're not in the truth. We don't understand what we should be doing as far as family law, statutes, and commandments because of Christianity. We don't know that. And so our brothers think they're doing a good thing by bringing a brother into a gang, knowing 9 times out of 10 it's only going in one of two ways. You're either going into the jail system or prison system, or you're going to be unalive. We've known that for decades now. And brothers still want and crave that masculinity so much, they still continue to go in. They still continue to do it. All right. All right. Let's see. So what are some ways? We talked about a couple of them already, but what are some ways that our masculinity, black masculinity, is being attacked? What are some ways that black masculinity are being attacked? And before we get into that, matter of fact, y'all can go ahead and answer. I'm gonna pull the scripture. Let's see. Mark 3:27. And this is something that we were just talking about. And we've talked about it before, but it says, no man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. No man can enter into your house and spoil your goods. Goods meaning your family. Can't spoil your family. He can't take your family. He can't do any of these things unless he first binds up the strong man or makes the strong man with no ability to defend, to protect, to do everything that we've said he's supposed to do, which is his job to be the leader of his family. So that was part of what this oppressor did. He bound up the strong man in a manner that just removed him from the home. Just removed him from the home. That was one of the strategies. Tell me some more. Who can tell me some other ways in which Black masculinity is being attacked? There are a ton of them. And we can talk about now. We can talk about historically. Y'all let me know. All right, Sister I said propaganda push black men. They push the black men are criminals. Dogs. Yep, there were dogs always cheating. Cheating on women or liars. Yep. The news always shows the worst of us. Entertainment pushes the most negative image of men. That's all absolutely true, particularly black men. It's just and I believe that's what you're saying, but it's always the most negative image of us, to make that masculinity that supposedly the oppressor is so scared of. It makes it worse to make everybody petrified. It's a message that's pushed out consistently. If you ever hear about, especially for those black folks who think we Africans, ever ask them what Africans' perspective of us over here, black people over here, or so-called Negroes. Ask them what their perspective is. That they were violent, we're hypersexual, we're criminals, we're all of that. Because that's what's pushed out. That's definitely one of the ways that they attack it. Because then when you show any masculinity, it's tied to all these negative perceptions. Officer Yagadah said Christianity. Absolutely. Christianity softens us terribly. We got to love everybody. We got to forgive everybody. This is what Christianity teaches. You have to love everybody and forgive everybody. What does love mean? Oh, you just got to feel a certain way and not feel negative about them. I have to not feel negative about an oppressor? Yeah, you got to forgive him. This is Christianity. Listen, everybody can be a Christian. And then you can't judge. That's what Christianity says. You can't judge me. You can't judge me. And you got to love everybody, even this oppressor who destroys your communities. You got to love them. Because if you don't love them, then God ain't going to love you. That's the most weakest thing that absolutely snatches and just stomps on any type of masculinity. How can you protect your community with the idea that you have to love and forgive everyone for everything? How can you protect your family if the person that breaks into your home, you're supposed to what? I'm supposed to make them comfortable? I'm supposed to make them comfortable and love them so that then they know that what they're doing is wrong? That makes absolutely no sense. How can you protect your nation, your community, from another nation that wants to destroy you when you have to forgive and love them? That's impossible. And what's worse is this oppressor does not do it. The oppressor does not care about forgiving everyone. When they're touched, they don't care. There was no forgiveness when them Twin Towers came down. There was no forgiveness. They sent all kind of drone attacks. What was that? 20 years or something like that? There was no consideration. Nobody said, well, we got to forgive them because we Christian. No. We're going to send every missile we have over there. That's what they did. And that's what they do. Emmett Till didn't get any forgiveness when that woman lied on him. Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, there was no forgiveness. And so many of these were unprompted anyway. But you take something like the Emmett Till situation where the lady lied and said he made this egregious act, which won't even, I mean, whatever. There was no forgiveness. They just teach our people to do that. Why? Why is it so important for us to be the ones who forgive and love everyone? Who can tell me that? Because there's a reason. There's an absolute reason why Christianity is taught to Black people specifically the way that it is. It's specifically the way it's taught that way for a reason, for a very specific reason. And it started centuries ago. It started centuries ago. Who can tell me why it's so important for Black people to believe? It's so important for the oppressor, for Black people to believe in Christianity, for Latino people to believe in Christianity, for Native Americans to believe in Christianity, in some form of Christianity. Why is that so important for this oppressor? Somebody let me know. Somebody let me know. I gotta adjust these colors for sister eyes. You don't want tonight. Let me see. Let me see what you got. Because the message is given that men need to be sensitive and honor these strong Black queens or get a submissive she saw. Because Black women are now too strong. That is absolutely a message that goes out. She's absolutely right. Give Officer Yagadar a hand. He is absolutely right. So that these devils never have to pay for their crimes. That's why. That's why it's so important. That's why now, although back then, listen, what I'm about to say, UPK, we got no love for MLK, right? Let's be clear. He destroyed our communities by joining us with this oppressor. Now let's be real. Nowadays, oh, that's their poster child now. That's their poster child for being submissive and weak. When they hear a strong masculine brother talking the way we speak, well, Martin Luther King wouldn't have wanted that. He wanted everybody to love each other, yeah. And now you're saying that's what should happen. When back then he had to go. He had to go. But the reality is they don't want to have to pay for their crimes. They don't want to have to be subject for their ancestors and all the torture and hell and horrible mutilating that they did to our people. Whether it be physically, mentally, destroying our families, having slave farms where you just producing children so then you can export them out of Virginia and send them to Mississippi so they can work on somebody's farm. Now you've taken this woman's child away from her. 2 months later, she got to have another one. She better be pregnant again. That's how savage these oppressors are. And now, fast forward, now that after 400 years of slavery, another 100 years of legalized sanctioned oppression, now guess what? Y'all, we're all Christians and we want to worship and live together. And that was so long ago. And you can't judge anybody. You can't judge people. You gotta love. There was no love for us. There was no love. There was only hatred and destruction. There was only hatred and oppression, and there continues to be. But our people have to be convinced that we are Christians. And to be a good Christian, you got to love everybody. That's exactly why they need us to believe that. Give Trooper Kazaki a hand. He's absolutely right. He said it in a different way, but the same thing. It softens us up to not want any justice for what was done to us. And that's what you hear our people saying. That's what you hear people who are not in the UPK. You hear them talking about, well, that was a long time ago. We need to just let that go. It used to be just the oppressor would say that, and we collectively as a people used to get offended by that. We used to get offended when we heard people as a collective. When you hear somebody say, well, y'all, could you just get over it? That used to offend people. Now our people say it. Now our people say, well, none of that affected me. I wasn't even there. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I wasn't there. All I know is what I'm doing now. That's Christianity softening us up so that we don't want the justice that we're deserved. That's Christianity. And what's sad is, you know who's saying those things now more so than anybody? You know who it matters to be soft more so than anybody? The black man. Our men have to be that soft because it's our job to protect our sisters. So we should, and our families, which is why we should be the ones looking for justice. We should be actively pursuing it. How do we do that? We're not saying go out and do anything violent, none of that. You know how you actively pursue the justice for your people? Who else can give me that answer? I know Officer Yagadar knows. I'm pretty sure Trooper Kazaki knows. How do we actively pursue our justice? Damn right. Stephen Baldwin says it offends me still when I hear that nonsense. Yeah, as it should. As it should. But we're so destroyed, our brothers say that type of stuff. Our sisters say that type of stuff now. We should just get over it. We should just get over it. It was a long time ago. None of that affects me. It's such a destruction of our people, and we don't know it. We don't even realize it. Give Trooper Kazaki a hand. Keeping the laws that I think he means laws, statutes, and commandments, and let the Most High go to work. Absolutely. Getting in this body, getting in the ISUPK, following the laws, statutes, and commandments, becoming part of the waking up of our people, fishing our people in. That's how you actively look for justice. That's how we actively look for justice. Once we do what we're supposed to do, and enough of us wake up and understand who we are and what we should be doing, Salaki. One second. The water for that. Yep. The water for that, brother. Salaki. Once we understand what we're supposed to be doing, once we understand the law, statutes, and commandments, and what we're supposed to be following, when enough of us do that, then the Most High can say, you know what? Now I'm ready. Now I'm ready to go back to my people. Now I'm ready. And now, when that happens, then justice will be delivered. Justice will be delivered. And understand, we're getting close. We're getting close. The question is, are you going to be part of it or not? Are you going to be part of the work or not? Are you going to actively seek justice or not? You see all of these powers, these governments moving. It was what, a month ago? Maybe a month ago, when everything went down with so-called Israel and Palestine. And since then, you've seen escalation on escalation on escalation. United States got issues with China, Russia, Iran. It's all getting real tense. Commander General Yohana been telling all y'all and us, but y'all who ain't listening is who I'm talking to. Commander General Yohana been telling y'all that this third world war is going to come. This third world war is going to come, and when it does, we're going to be right there. Christ is coming. And if you are not in the ISUPK, if you have not put your brick in, as Officer Yaraj has said, if you're still on the sidelines, it's not going to work out well for you. The protection is in this body. The protection is in this body. If you are not in this body, when Christ returns, hey, because you can't say nobody told you. You can't say nobody told you. Absolutely right. So lock it. And let me go back to that scripture. So lock it that we were talking about before, Mark 3:27. And read that one more time. It says, no man can enter into the strong man's house and spoil his goods except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. One of the things that I failed to say a second ago was that when you talk about spoiling, that's loot, right? That's loot from a war. We've become so spoiled to America because really they went to war with us. They went to war with us, and then they got the benefit of the loot, which is our communities, our bodies, the efforts that we put forth. All of that was loot that they got. How did they go to war with us? They bombed our community. They bombed our communities after enslaving us. After enslaving us, they bombed our communities. They pushed feminism, right? They push us to be soft through Christianity, which is what we've been talking about. And then, of course, they push drugs into our community. They push drugs into our communities as chemical warfare. They absolutely destroyed us. This is a war, a continuous war. And what's the loot? What's the benefit? Prisoners of war. That's what we are. Whether it be taking our resources, whether it be taking our talents, whether it be putting our bodies in prison and using us in the same slavery that they so-called freed us from. It's all warfare. Officer Uriah said integration as well. Right. All warfare. That integration is taking the resources. If we were segregated, our resources would be in our community. We had so much knowledge. Like think about right after slavery, right? Who was doing all the work? Who was doing all the agricultural work? Who was doing all the work everywhere? We were. So by the time that was over, we had all the skill, which is why it was so. That's how you got sharecropped, because they didn't want them to go. The slave owners didn't want the people to go nowhere. We just didn't realize what we had. We did for a short period of time. We did for a short period of time when we started building our community. We took all of that information, all of that talent, all of that skill, and we started building our communities, which is what we should have done. And then integration came, and all of that skill left. All of that skill left because we could do nothing. We no longer focused on our communities and building our communities up and circulating in our communities and dealing with each other. Now we thought it was better to go to Woolworths. We thought it was better to go eat at somebody else's restaurant. We thought their suits were better as opposed to getting the sister to tailor, and we need to go across town and get the oppressor to tailor. Instead of having our own football, baseball leagues, we thought it was better to go play baseball with the oppressor. And then all of that walks out of the community. Right, absolutely. As Officer Uriah said, who was making the tools, the lawnmowers, the storage of crops, all that? We were doing all of that. Who knew what to do in the fields? Who knew how to actually tend to the crops, turn the soil, make sure that, hey, we don't overuse this soil. So now we got to rotate over here to give that soil a rest. That was what we did. That's why this kingdom is so great today, because of our efforts. But make no mistake, we're prisoners of war. The engine, exactly. The lawnmower engine, all that. There's so much benefit that this oppressor has gotten. But what it is loot from a war. All right? Let me see. What is some more? I thought y'all were going to name some more ways that our masculinity has been attacked. Yeah, somebody, wait a minute, Salaki. Go back up. Sister Raya had made a couple comments. Let me see. think I read. If I didn't, I want to read it again. It says the message given them that men need to be sensitive and honor these strong black women. So like strong black queens and or get a submissive oppressor because black women are now too strong. And this is another thing that has happened to our brothers because our men have become softer. Now our men don't know how to deal with our women. Because let's be honest, and I hope y'all sisters appreciate what I'm about to say. Y'all different in a good way, but y'all different. Y'all are absolute different. Oh no, yeah. Oh, see, I say he's not trying to take the class. Not at all, sir. I appreciate it. A lot for the participation. You know, I appreciate the support. Damn right. But yeah, our men have become softer because now we can't deal with our sisters. And y'all different. Y'all are. You know. Why? Because y'all have gone through the same oppression that we have. So y'all got things that y'all deal with. We're all damaged. We're all damaged. But brothers don't want to have the patience they need with their sister. Brothers don't want to do that. But then they want to be emotional. And that's why they can't deal with a sister. Anytime I hear a brother say that he likes the oppressor's woman more, I just automatically like, you're weak, bro. You weak. You weak. You clearly weak. Because there's not, listen, any of the 12 tribes, there's nothing better on the planet. Our sisters are absolutely beautiful in so many ways. I'm not just talking about physical, right? Our sisters are smart. Our sisters are ambitious. And especially if they come in here and get the proper teaching, right? Our sisters are, listen, you can't, they're second to none. But if you can't be a strong man, then you have a hard time with a sister. If you don't have the proper masculinity and discipline, you're gonna have a hard time with a sister. If you haven't been taught how to be a strong man, you're gonna have a problem with a sister, and there you go. You're gonna run to the oppressor. So then, and this is why you go to the oppressor. This is the benefit. You're no longer a man. You're a pet. You're a pet when you go to the oppressor's woman. And that's how you'll be shown off. I think I might have mentioned in another class, I had a brother say, he's not in school, you're in the world. And he told me, how did he phrase it? He said, it's an honor. He said they look at it as an honor to be with a black man. And I was like, dude, you are so confused. You're so lost. You're so blind. He's like, what do you mean? I said, if anything, it's like, because he was saying how, they'll show you off and they feel like so proud and so on and so forth. I said, yeah, it's about the same as when they get a new puppy, right? When you get a new dog, you want to show everybody your new dog. Especially the oppressive women. They'll take that dog everywhere. They put them in little pocketbooks, and they taking the dog any and everywhere because they want everybody to see their little puppy. And that's exactly what they do with brothers. That's exactly what the oppressor does with brothers. Sure, she's going to show you off to her family because you are a pet. You're a toy. You're a thing that she wants to show off just because. That is not love. That is nothing special. All right. Let me see. Obviously, y'all can say alphabet mafia. Absolutely. The alphabet mafia is strong. It's strong and totally taking over our brother. Sister Raya says success is becoming a house inward. Oops, I mean loving the oppressor. That's how it's viewed. That's how it's viewed. That's how success is viewed often. You're not successful unless you're soft, especially as a black man. As a black man, you're not successful unless you're soft. There's gonna be something wrong with you unless you're soft. You're gonna have something you need to work on unless you're soft. That's how it's viewed. And that's the Christian church. That's the Christian church. Why y'all so angry? I've heard that so many times. Why y'all so angry? Well, the Bible says oppression makes a wise man mad. That's why I'm angry. Y'all ain't gotta be angry. Y'all ain't gotta talk like that. Because that's masculinity. That's why. Obviously, your wife said that's a fine N-word you got there, Betty. Good stock. He's a breeder, right? That's exactly what it is. That's the tone. It's no love. She don't love you like that. She's got a toy. She's got a pet. She's got a buck here. That's how it's viewed. It ain't got nothing to do with your no love. This brother was, and I mean, just lost. But that's the problem. That's the problem. That's what we think is right. When the reality is, they just complimenting each other on some stock, on some livestock. That's it. You went out and got you a strong one, huh? Good job. Ain't no love. There's absolutely no concern for anything, any oppression that he's going through. Absolutely none. You can't have any because it's your people who are doing it. Those owners of the NFL and NBA show off their N-words too, exactly, and pay them more than the average slave. That's it. They just get paid more than the average slave. That's absolutely it. That's absolutely it. I'm not sure any of y'all might have seen the I think it was Colin Kaepernick. I think it was on Netflix. He had a small series. A small series, it might be 3 or 4 episodes about his life and how he came up or whatever. But one of the things, one of the scenes was, I think it might have been the opening scene. It talked about how the NFL, the NBA, all of that is based on just physical prowess, and how it's not that different from the auction blocks. It's not the draft, ain't that different. It's kind of not that different. We just need the biggest ones you got, which is why we end up dominating all of these sports, because they're just looking for the most physical individual. It's not that different. It's basically the same thing as Officer Yagadar said. They just get paid a little bit more. They get paid their high-priced slaves. And how do we know that? Colin Kaepernick is the proof. Colin Kaepernick is the proof that they are high-priced slaves, high-paid slaves. Because as soon as he said and did something that they did not like, you're off the plantation. I'm really not concerned about you. I'll get another one. All right. Let me see. Again, there's some of this that I didn't think y'all hit. So we're gonna kind of go through them. Y'all let me know what y'all perspective is, all right? Another way that they attack our masculinity is through music. You think about hip hop. Hip hop, when it started, rap was a strong masculine genre of music. When it started, it was a strong genre of music. Now, listen, between being a drug addict, I mean, you go back. First of all, when it started, doing drugs in hip hop was just wrong. That everybody was like, nah, we don't promote that. Then you go from not promoting it to promoting some of it to then, I mean, the stuff that's getting promoted now is like, God damn. When did it become cool to be a junkie? I don't understand. When did it become okay to be an absolute junkie? Lean is something. Molly, lean. How many brothers have to be unalived and pass away taking a drug that everyone knows has the potential, has a extremely high potential to take you out? But yet, this is the music that's perpetuated. This is the music that's perpetuated. I'll tell you another way, though, especially recently. Our sisters, what what's that chick's name? Sexy Red? Oh my God, she's horrible. She is I can't say she's the worst because there's another one out there. I forgot her name. But them two, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been going on for a minute, right? But they took it to a whole nother level. They took it to a whole nother level with what they speak about. And this is why it's emasculating. So I don't know if y'all saw this or not. I don't even know how true this is, but I saw a picture that looked like Sexy Red was pregnant. Clearly, nobody knows who that daddy is. She probably don't know. I saw an interview she had. She had made two different phone calls, got two different phone calls from two different brothers, and she called both of them baby daddy. She ain't got but one kid. How is that at all possible? She got one quick kid. She calling two people baby daddy, and at the time she was not pregnant. And I remember watching that interview like, well, if either one of them, I mean, if I see that interview, what does that do? There's no masculinity there, dude. You're just sharing her. I mean, that makes her an absolute whore. But what does that do to any brother who might have felt something for her? Oh, he's destroyed. He's absolutely destroyed. Hopefully he knew what he had, but I mean, I don't know. That's a whole road. But that type of presentation of our women, it makes it's emasculating on some level. I get it. They're making themselves look horrible, but it still emasculates the man. Because no strong masculine man wants his woman appearing that way. No strong masculine man wants every piece of what he should be seeing at home out for the world. That's an emasculating thing. A few months ago, you think about what is it, Keke Palmer? Now the brother, I don't know if he handled the situation correctly, but again, that was emasculating to that brother. You're out here in the world showing everything with an outfit that he did not approve of. Now again, I don't know how he handled it. I don't know if he told her before. I don't know none of that, but I do know her being out there is emasculating to that brother. Because what it says is you don't got no control over your woman. Let's not say control, because I know sisters, they have a hard time with that word sometimes. Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't know. I'm gonna tell you right now why you should not have a problem with that word. First Corinthians 11:3. 1 Corinthians 11:3 says, "But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Most High." So Christ should control my life. I think everybody would agree. As a man, Christ is the head. If anybody does not agree with that, let me know. Let me know. Give me a 1 if you agree with me. Give me a 2 if you disagree. Give me a 1 if you agree that Christ should control my life. Christ, the Most High, that's who I should be following. That's who I should be taking commandments from and instructions. And that's why I follow Commander General Yohana and Captain Latazak Nashah and Officer Urash, because those men are above me. And they, you understand? If anybody disagrees with that, let me know. Let me know who disagrees that Yahushua Mashiach is my king and should be my king. In which case, I should take commandments and follow orders. Triple Kazaki said he agrees. He agrees with me. He agrees with me. Sister Aya says she agrees with me. Officer Yagadar said he agrees with me. Okay. With the water for that. So now, if I should be subject to what Christ wants me to do, because Christ is the head of every man, then if a man is the head of every woman, then she should be subject to what her man wants. Who disagrees with that? And please, if you disagree, let me know. Help me understand where I'm off. Help me understand where I'm off. Give me a 1 if you agree. Give me a 2 if you don't. Let me know. Officer Uriah said, let every other man play you. And he said, let me take control now. I'm not sure what you said, Officer Uriah. Salaki. I'm missing something. Salaki. All right, let me see. Officer Yagda said, white Jesus don't give no orders. That's why they claim they fire him. Right. Christ don't give no orders. Right? Salaki. White Jesus don't give no orders. White Jesus don't give no orders. He let you do whatever you want to do. You ain't got to be subject to nothing with white Jesus. And all you got, well, you got to pay your tithes. You got to pay your tithes. They're going to tell you that. You got to pay your tithes. But that's about it. That's about it. That's about it. Once you pay your tithes, we good. I get it. If you do something, just come back and apologize. You know, it'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. That's why. That's absolutely why they claim to follow him. Free reign for all nonsense. Free reign for everything your heart desires, everything your carnal nature wants. Free reign. All right, Trooper Kazaki said, okay, that makes sense that a man should give orders to his woman, right? Because that's what the Bible says. Absolutely. My rib says she agreed. Good job, girl. Damn right. Salaki. Officer, Salaki. Let me see. Officer Yagadas says, "Come as you are, bacon sandwich it all." Right. That's what you can do in a Christian church. You come as you are, and listen. The biggest thing is one of the first. It's my first or second camp. I heard Officer Kazak in DC. He said, "You can come as you are. You just can't stay as you are," and that is absolutely right. You can come as you are into this body. You can't stay that way. You can't. Because right now, if you're not in this school, you are not in the truth. And so you cannot stay how you are once you come into this school. Once you come in, now you have to change. Now you have to allow yourself to shed yourself of the world and start following the law, statutes, and commandments. Start taking orders. Start being a functioning member of the body. That's what's required. That's what's required. Yeah, absolutely right. But in that Christian church, you can make a sandwich. You can come with some ham hocks and everything else, and it's fine. It's horrible. You can be in the choir stand looking like a complete woman, knowing you're a man. You can have every mannerism that is effeminate. You can be the softest man, and they're gonna be absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Mess around and be able to sing. Oh boy, you're gonna be catapulted to the highest levels outside of the pastor. That's just what they do. That's what they do in the Christian church. They have absolutely no discipline, no idea what the Most High requires. Absolutely no idea, because the Bible has nothing to do with Christianity. Obviously, Uriah says she let every other man play her for the past 10 to 20 years. 10, 20 years now. But when we say God said a man is to have control, now it's a problem. Right. That's a great point. Our sisters, listen, our sisters get so manipulated. They get so blinded. Brothers will treat them terribly and use them and do everything. But don't tell her what to do. Don't tell her what to do. Don't say that you're supposed to have control. Sisters will say, and again, I'm gonna ask this question to the sisters. What sister in here would like or expects or thinks a man should provide guidance and protection. Sister Raya said it earlier. If any sisters are still there, let me know. 1, if y'all agree. 2, if you don't. Should a man provide protection and guidance? Is that something that a man should provide to his woman? And while y'all answering, Sister Raya said, damn right. There you go. That's one. Let's see who agrees with Sister Aya, who doesn't. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. Who thinks that a man should do that? I'm hoping somebody answers, somebody else besides Sister Aya answers. I'm hoping somebody else does. Going back to what we were talking about before, though, what other ways do they attack our masculinity? Through the movies. Through the movies that we watch, and the roles that they get our people to play. There's our brothers to play. There's such a higher rate of a black man being put in a dress on some TV show, some movie, something like that. That is an emasculating thing. That emasculates a man to force him to a certain extent to present himself as a woman. That is emasculating. It's not just acting. It's not just acting. You have some brothers who won't do that. You have some brothers who won't do that. It's like it. Denzel Washington is one. I don't think he's ever done it. I don't think he's ever done it. Dave Chappelle ended his show because they wanted him to do it, from what I understand. But he has done it also. When you go back, he was young. It was early. He did do it like back in the 90s. He did do it back in the 90s. Because that is it's purposeful. And then you have cats like Tyler Perry, who's just blown this thing out of proportion. He's just made it horrible. Just way too, he's normalized it outrageously. Normalize it outrageously. Medea, I don't know what Shana. I'm not saying that. Yes, that Medea. Medea has made it just horrible, horrible. All right, but that's another way in which they do it. I don't see no sister child in. No sweat, no sweat, no sweat. Listen. Guidance and protection is something that we as men are supposed to provide for our women. Damn right. But you can only get that when there's a proper structure. I cannot guide and protect you if you're not going to listen to what the hell I'm saying. I cannot guide and protect you if you're going to walk out the house showing everyone everything they want to see. Particularly when I tell you don't do it. And you go do it anyway. Now you're emasculating me because my woman is out there, and it makes it damn hard to provide protection for something a situation you put me in. If you respected the man, you would respect what he's saying. If for no other reason than the order, and then for a selfish reason to make sure you have your protection and guidance. Even for selfish damn reasons. But this kingdom has destroyed our sisters so much with this women live movement, kicking the brothers out the home. Now they feel like they don't need a man. They want a man, but they don't need a man. They kind of want a man. They want a man, but they want a man in the way they want the man. And then when he's soft, you don't respect him. When he's too soft, you don't respect him. When he's too masculine, now he's misogynistic and all this other stuff. But the man has to accept you for who you are. That's what Christianity has taught us. It's absolute destruction. There's a few more ways. Welfare, we talked about, kicking the brother out of the home. Child support. Child support is another way. That's emasculating to a man. That's emasculating to a man. Because what you're saying is, you're telling that man, not only do I think so little of you, that I'm going to go to the oppressor to force you to take care of your children. Right? You know damn well, if you do that, and for whatever reason I fall on hard times or whatever, now you're going to send me to jail, essentially. Now, how is that beneficial for the child at all? How is that beneficial for the child at all? And let's be honest. Let's just be honest. A lot of times that's used as a weapon. That has nothing. Listen, the right thing to do would be, first of all, the right thing to do would be to stay together. That's first and foremost. That's first and foremost. But if you're hell bent on not having the relationship, the right thing to do is be mature about it for the benefit of the child and come to an agreement. Have some discussions. That's what mature people do. That's what mature people do. Oftentimes, our sisters, they don't do that. And that's emasculating to a man. Give you some more. Let me see. Stop and frisk. Who's heard of that? Let's see what the sister said. Like women that say they need a man with 6 figures, his own house, and good credit, but the women are bringing 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, and she living with her mama to get her credit right soon. Right. Absolutely. That sister wants the man how she wants him, and she needs to be accepted for who she is. This is a lot of the narrative that is destroying our people. It's a huge part of it. And it's all a plan. Listen, you don't hear these other nations dogging their men like that. You don't hear these other nations requiring so much when they're in such a bad space. You don't hear any of these other nations saying that they don't need a man and they're independent. I don't ever hear that. I don't ever hear that. Donald Trump is a good example of the oppressor's woman knowing where her strength comes from. Donald Trump ran for president and talked about grabbing them by the box, no respect for women. He had 30, 20, I don't know how many of it was women that said he had sexually assaulted them. There were all of these things. And the majority of Shesaw voted for Donald Trump. There was no concern about any of that. You know why? Because they know where their strength comes from. They know that their men are their strength. And so they're not going to go against that, but so much. They might even talk a good game. They don't talk a whole lot, though. They don't talk a lot about their men and how they're not this and how they're not that. Our sisters do. Our sisters do. All right. Stop and frisk is another one that emasculates brothers because it shows that they have no power. And it also shows that we're still in captivity. The idea that you could just walk up to me because you got a badge, throw me up against the wall and start patting me down, and I have to just accept that. We all know, I think I covered this in one of the classes before, that predominantly happens to Black, Latino, Native American brothers. It doesn't happen to the oppressors people like that. And that is a show of force to let you know that you need to stay in your place. That in and of itself is emasculating. I'm sure somebody's heard of buck breaking before. Who may have heard of that? Who may not have? Y'all let me know. Buck breaking is meant to be emasculating. If y'all don't know what that is, that was the practice of the oppressor to take that was the practice of the oppressor to take the strongest slave. And I don't know if I'm gonna show all of this. I might just have to read it. Chuba Kazaki said he knows what it is. Damn right. Take the strongest slave. This is part of the process. Take the strongest slave, make him drop his pants, bend him over. Then they would flog him, whip him repeatedly, so he was too weak to resist the sexual assault that was to follow. Because after this slave owner did that, this slave owner then had sex in front of everybody with this strong male. What that does is mess with the psyche of him and every other slave standing there. Because if this strong man, probably the strongest one here on the plantation, if you can do that to him, if you can completely emasculate him like that, and this goes back to some of the things that plague our communities even today. Our sisters have a problem seeing us as the protector. They want us to be. They have a problem seeing us that way. Part of it is things like that with buck breaking. Part of it is the welfare where you're kicking brothers out the house. Part of it, a big part of it now, is the feminist movement. How they've been told they don't need a man. So if you've been told you don't need the black man, then clearly you're not going to see him as a protector. You're not going to listen to any guidance he gives you because you don't need him. Let's keep going. So this is one. Let's see. Who's ever heard Kanala'a? Who's ever heard about the practice of withholding pants, trousers, breeches from slaves? Kanala'a. Who's ever heard about that? Okay, that's what's up. I'm gonna try to pronounce your name, young man, Jerion. I believe that's what I'm saying. Looks like he's checking in from New Orleans, the son of Officer Matabar. Okay. Okay. Shalom. Yabashana Shabakata. All right. All right. That's what's up. Good to see you, brother. Good to have you in class. All right. Trooper Kazaki said La'ah. He's never heard of that. Sister Ra'aya said La'ah. She's never heard of that. And of course, I can't get, I be, listen, sidebar. Sometimes I be trying to find information that y'all Officer Yagadah just don't have. I be trying hard sometimes. I feel like if I'm getting something that he don't know, then I know I'm getting deep because he got a lot of information. He got a lot of information. Officer Yagadah said, "Kai, he heard of that. Some slaves didn't get pants until they were in their 20s. That is absolutely right. That is absolutely right." Shalom, oh, Sister Nazan Anaz in the building. Shalom, sis. That is absolutely right, though. Some brothers didn't get pants until they were in their 20s. This was a practice they had of not giving young men pants until they were older. So all throughout their adolescence, now mind you, when older, that's at best 13, 14, 15 years old. At worst, as Officer Yagadah said, brother might be in his 20s. Brother might be in his 20s before he get pants. Now, what does that do? That means you're walking around. Now, they wouldn't necessarily give him a dress. They give him a really long shirt, a nightgown, something like that. Now, you're walking around, a young man, looking like you have on a dress, looking like you're wearing everything else that the women wear. What does that do? How does that mess with your psyche? You don't look like a boy. You look like a girl. This is something that was being done when we were enslaved. My point is this whole work to emasculate the black man is not something new. It's my same message damn near every class. They have a playbook that they work from. The things we see now oftentimes were things that they did back then. And that was one of the efforts. Let's just don't give them pants. Don't give them pants. Have them walk around looking like they're girls. Have them walk around looking like they are girls, and that in and of itself messes with the psyche of a young man. We just talked about butt breaking and what that does to the psyche of everybody, but definitely a young man. Because this is the biggest brother there. So as an adolescent child, I see the biggest man who looks like me get absolutely broken down and sexually assaulted. I have to watch that. And then I have to look at myself and realize that I'm basically dressed like every other female on this plantation. That's all an attempt to emasculate, to make, because God loves black masculinity. As we said earlier, the sister said it provided protection, guidance. Absolutely right. But part of our oppression is that. All right. Slovakia. Young man, Jonrin. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. All right. He's checking in. New Orleans also. All right. Shalom. Shalom. Yabba Shabbat. I'm right. Okay. My rib said, then our men had their pants hanging so low you see their underwear and t-shirts so long you see their knees. Right. Right. And then that became a thing. That became this trend, which is again terrible. We jump on trends. We're the worst ones. We are the worst to jump on trends. It's and not only do we jump on trends, we jump on the ones that don't help us at all. We jump on ones that don't help us at all, don't provide any type of stability, don't do any of that. Absolutely. New Orleans is the building for real. So why the for y'all coming through? Right? Damn right. Damn right. Most High Christ. All right. So let me see if I'm able to pull this article up. We got a few more minutes. I want to get to this. So this article that I'm about to share is the epitome, the evidence, the proof of that our men continue to be emasculated. Try to pull this up as I can. Con, sis, that's exactly what we were saying. We were talking about that shortly before y'all checked in the class. Absolutely. Buck breaking is how it started. And we were talking about the idea that that it was a normal practice to deprive young men, young black slaves, from wearing pants until they were in their, 13, 14, 15 years old. And in some cases, they were in their 20s before the slave owner would allow them to wear pants. And that was another form, again, of psychological oppression, breaking us down and totally emasculating us. There was actually an article that I read, and the print is way too small. I'm not gonna pull it up, but they had all type of well, not all type. They had several interviews of former slaves, and they were talking. One of them was talking about how her brother wore the long nightgown looking thing until he was like 15, 16 years old, and how she used to joke on him because he was all around here trying to talk to these young, the girls on the plantation, and she talking trash to him because he got on the dress. This is back then. And sure, I'm sure she thought it was joking, it was joking at the time, but how much joking can you handle on that level? What does that do to you psychologically? It was not accidental, it was absolutely purposeful. No sweat, sis. I understand. Damn right. Damn right. They definitely need to know that. Definitely need to know that. Officer Yagdar says they also had the young boys sagging their pants to show who had been tampered with. Easy pickings for the pedo slave masters. There you go. Absolutely. 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 So this is what I'm gonna pull up now. I think I'm gonna be able to pull this up. The title of this is Black Masculinity in the Government. All right. And I want y'all just to understand, again, the psychology of how much we have been broken down. All right. Okay, this is a larger article about these two what is it? These two, how did he phrase it? These two practices. two programs, Salaki, two programs that were used or that was done. One was a study, and another one was um, potential things that they would do based on what they found in the study. All right, potential solutions, if you will. But it said these governmental excursions in black community, black masculinity, were based on false premises, including that there was only one way to be a man. No, this is not where I want to be. Hold, please. I don't want to go that far. Is that later? All right. Okay, so there was a study done. This was in 1965. There was a study done about the black community and the negative characteristics that the black community had and why. Okay, that's what a lot of this is about, right? This says black men were being set up to play in a competition on its own terms. They could never win. The competition being a strong black man in your home. All right. Says the focus on masculinity served to blame black men for the deprivations they suffered, discount the force of the structural racism, and obscure the interests of black people who do not identify as male, especially black women and girls. Now listen to this. Listen to what a lot of this tone of this. All right, because we know that again, not having a strong black man in the home destroys the family, which destroys the community. We know that. They found this out in 1965. I shouldn't say they found this out. There was a study done in 1965 where even Esau recognized it. All right. So part two describes a project from the presidential administration of Lyndon B. Johnson to reshape black masculinity in the image of a specific kind of white masculinity. Supposedly. Keep listening. Stay with me. Says this is a quote, a fundamental fact of Negro American family life is the often reverse roles of husband and wife. What does that mean? Just like we were just talking, the man doesn't need to be there, so then the woman has to be more masculine. She has to take on a more masculine role. She has to be the man, and that's how you have every June. Every second Sunday in June, I think is the date. I can't remember exactly when it is. Then you might go on social media and everybody is wishing a happy Father's Day to all the single mothers out there. That's this kind of tone that they're talking about. All right. So Moynihan was the guy who did the actual study. It said Moynihan claimed that the principal cause of black poverty was the structure of African American families, which he famously described as a tangle of pathology. In his analysis, the black community had been forced into a matriarchal structure that held back the progress of the race and imposed a crushing burden on black men. And he's absolutely right. The things we talked about, taking the man out the house, making the woman the strong black woman that you just have to accept everything she gives you. Not listening, black women not wanting to listen to black men. All of that switches the natural state of things, and it creates a matriarchal structure where the woman is in charge and the man has to be subject to her. Says the problems the report noted included the higher rate of out of wedlock births among blacks, and that there were proportionately substantially more black families in which the father did not reside in the household than with white families. Same thing we're talking about. All right. In essence, the report's thesis was that centuries of white subordination had damaged black masculinity. So what we just talked about, buck breaking, not allowing us to wear pants, not having us in the house, all of that is centuries of oppression that specifically attacks black masculinity. Says in Moynihan's words, the very essence of the male animal, from the bantam rooster to the four-star general, is a strut. Moynihan's critique was that black men were not allowed to strut. His whole thing is men have a certain amount of masculinity. The oppression that our black Latino, and Native Indian men have suffered, destroyed that masculinity. This is Esau. Y'all keep listening though, because this is the proof that our masculinity was completely destroyed. This is the proof that if you are not in the ISUPK, you are going to be feminine. It says many civil rights leaders slammed the report for what they saw as its cultural insensitivity and sexism. They talked bad about the report. One second. Salaki, the brother said, so it's systematic slavery. Not what is your question exactly? I want to make sure is what systematic slavery. I want to make sure I know what you're asking. All right. Many civil rights leaders, and I'm gonna keep going. Just go ahead and type it in when you're ready, okay? Many civil rights leaders slammed the report for what they saw as its cultural insensitivity and sexism. Okay. This is another quote from the report, though. It says there is presumably no special reason why a society in which males are dominant in family relationships is to be preferred to a matriarchal arrangement. However, it is clearly a disadvantage for a minority group to be operating on one principle while the great majority of the population and the one with the most advantages to begin with operates on another. And this is the present situation of the Negro. What is he saying here? What that means is this society, while you don't have to, this is what he started out with. You don't necessarily have to have a patriarchal structure. But let's be clear, it's a clear disadvantage for the minority group to be going off of a plan that's different from everyone else, as far as the patriarch is concerned, because we're not supposed to go along with these practices that they do. But the reality is, even he was saying, why would you do that when this is working? Objectively, even if you don't even want to believe in the Bible objectively, why would you not do that? Why would you not just, have the man be masculine and do what he needs to do? Protect and guide, right? Let me see what the brother says. Systematic emasculation. Yes, sir. That's exactly what it is. Everything the white man. Okay, yes, that's absolutely true. This is systematic. Yes, yes. All of it is systematic. It's systematic oppression. Absolutely, no sweat. All right. Perhaps most important, its influence radiating to every part of life is the breakdown of the Negro family structure. For this, most of all, white America must accept responsibility. Now, this is once the report came out, Lyndon B. Johnson went to Howard University and spoke at their graduation. And he acknowledged, and y'all stay with me, because I know this sounds like, well, what's the problem almost? Like, damn, I was kind of surprised, honestly, when I read some of this. But then it hit me, the larger piece of it, all right? But he went and he acknowledged, let me go back up so I can get that sentence right. It flows from centuries of oppression and persecution of the Negro man. It flows from the long years of degradation and discrimination, which have attacked his dignity and assaulted his ability to produce for his family. That is very well put, especially from Esau. Now, this is the writer. Says this deflection acknowledged the crime, but held the victim accountable. The president told Howard graduates, the man of the family is supposed to be the protector and support of the family. That's what we just said. But if he is denied education and employment, if he cannot play his role as husband and father, the family breaks down. Clearly, that's what's being said, and clearly that's the case. This person who wrote this doesn't think so. That's why it's phrased the way it is. It says in Moynihan's view, the government had a role to play in establishing for black men a specific kind of old school masculinity. This would advance equity and justice for the entire race. That makes perfect sense, but he's critiquing it. He's saying that's not right. Let me go on. This goes on to talk about Lyndon B. Johnson, how he went on. He said he acknowledged that there were no single, there were no single easy answer to all the problems, but stated that jobs are a part of the answer. They bring the income, which permits the man to provide for his family. He also advocated welfare. So you gotta be. That's why it's always you gotta watch it. Also, welfare and social programs better designed to hold families together. Give him credit. Sounds good. Johnson planned to discuss specific interventions at an important White House conference on race relations planned for shortly after Howard University speech. After the report was leaked, however, the firestorm of criticism it received from civil rights activists, including Martin Luther King, John Lewis, and Bayard Rustin, caused the Johnson administration to abandon formal support of it. So listen, he had acknowledged, you know what? We should probably do something to try to keep black families together. Now you always got to be suspect with Esau, because he's the most subtle beast of the field anyway. So you gotta be cautious. But see what happens and be cautious. Martin Luther King, John Lewis, and Bayard Rustin said no. Nah, you don't need to do none of that. You want to work? You want to help keep families together, black families together? Nah, you're being sexist. That's what this is saying. That's what's wrong with Christianity. Now, at this point, when I'm reading, I was a little confused. Let's keep going. Because all of the criticisms Moynihan reported, the Moynihan report reached President Slovakia. All of the criticism of the Moynihan report reached President Johnson, and the president reluctantly backed away from his original position. Family stability was not mentioned at the White House conference, and further, as Moynihan's critics furthermore, as Moynihan's critics entirely carried the day, the Moynihan report was not even among the official working paper. So it wasn't even part of it. It took it completely off the table for there to be any kind of effort to reform anything. Again, not that we were looking now, there's no reason to expect it. But the reality is they didn't even want to try to do something to keep black families together. They told the government, no, don't do it. MLK, John Lewis. Obviously, Yagdan says the Pharisees, aka religious leaders, said no because it empowers them, not the black patriarchy. Exactly. Because if you think about it, all those individuals, they had structured families. They had structured families, and they were making pretty good damn money. So when you want to say, hey, we want to give some programs so that more of so-called Negroes, so-called black folks can make better money and stay together, because we acknowledge what we did. We acknowledge where you are is largely our fault, entirely, really. But they acknowledged a little bit of it, wanted to put some things in place, and they said no. The Christian leaders said no. So let's figure out why. Let's figure out why. Because listen to what this said. Because 1967, the black family dynamics that the report described has accelerated or gotten worse, as some would say. Of course they have. Of course they have. Because the black leaders said, no, don't help them. And continued to make our brothers weak and soft with Christianity. Because probably not many people would endorse the report's claim that ours is a society which presumes male leadership in private and public affairs. Nope, they wouldn't, because this society does not. It promotes alternative lifestyle. It promotes Christianity. It promotes a lot of nonsense. But what it does also do, what this oppressor also does, again, that Esau knows that her man is her protection. Even with all this alternative lifestyle stuff, they know that Esau is their protection. There's a subculture such as that of Negro in America in which this is not the pattern, is placed at a distinct disadvantage. It says to the extent that this is true descriptively, many people would see that the problem, many people would see that as the problem that needs to be fixed. Meaning this. This person is saying the fact that the family is broken down and the man is not there is a disadvantage. It's not the problem. Thinking that is the problem. That's what this person is saying. To the extent that this is true descriptively, many probably would say many probably would see that as the problem that needs to be fixed, rather than the black family structure. It's not that the black family structure needs to be fixed. It's that thinking that the black family structure needs to be fixed is the problem. That's what this person is saying. So why? What's the answer then? Let's keep going. It says still among blacks there remains an ambivalence about whether female-headed household are the impediment to the progress of the race, and if so, whether the problem is a missing black male body or alternatively a missing second wage earner, or the fact that African American women earn lower wages and have less wealth than almost any other group. Somebody telling me what that sounds like, because I know it's the first thing I thought. Who can tell me what that sounds like? We're a little over time. We only got a little bit more to go. Y'all hang in there with me. The water, sis, I appreciate it. This is diabolical, but this is the proof. I'm gonna walk y'all there. This is the proof. This is the proof that our brothers have been emasculated completely. If you are not in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, trust me, you are not a masculine brother. Come in and figure out how to get your masculinity up. When I read that, the first thing when I saw alternatively a missing second wage earner, it's not that a man needs to be there. It's just that somebody needs to be there making more money, making an additional income. Officer Yagdar says, sounds like welfare, aka the government, your new daddy. Absolutely right. Or it's not that a man needs to be in the house, just another wage earner. That could be a woman. That could be a man who identifies as a woman. It doesn't have to be an actual man. Absolute nonsense. Crazy. This is alternative lifestyle. Let me see. Because the objective is to make black families more like white nuclear families, with the father present in the home as its leader and the primary wage owner. This is one area where Esau got it right. How do we know that? Because the Bible says so. The Bible tells us. The Bible tells us that it's Christ over every man, man over woman, and the Most High over Christ. Right. My rib said inclusion to all the sinful practices. Exactly. It doesn't have to be just a man. It don't got to be a man in the house. It could be alternatively any other person who's making money. Says I have a friend who described. Oh, this is crazy. I'm gonna start from the beginning so y'all can hear this. The objective is to make black families more like white nuclear families, with the father present in the home as its leader and primary wage owner. I have a friend who describes this rationale as the magic rod theory. This is how they're, again, further demeaning and emasculating the man. He's really not that important. He doesn't need, if you believe, this is what he's saying, if you believe that a man in a home leads to a stronger family and a stronger community, then you would believe in magic rod theory. You believe in magic rod theory because just his presence must be something magical about it. This is our problem. We are completely out of order. Let's keep going. It says uplifting black men is seen as the same thing as uplifting the race. Yes, because if you uplift the black man and put him in his right position, when we teach these things, it's not because this is some magic thing. It's because that's what the Most High wants. That's what the Most High wants. He wants us in control of our women and our families. And that's not emasculation. That is improving the race. That's the strength that our communities and us as a whole don't have right now. So there's a specific kind of masculinity that was championed. Listen to this. It is cisgender, heterosexual, bougie, and respectable. Listen. I think this is the last part. Yes. The Moynihan Report explicitly made the case that black men were more injured by white supremacy than black women. It never said that. It never said that. It just says that it's important for a black man to be in the home. Objectively, this is Esau who saw this 40, 50 years ago. It's important that the black man is in the home. Says Moynihan wrote regarding post-Reconstruction Jim Crow segregation laws that it may be speculated that it was the Negro male who was most humiliated. Thereby, the male was more likely to use public facilities. The idea was that, again, men have a certain masculinity. That was absolutely destroyed systematically. And all the report was saying is, we're seeing the effects. We're seeing the effects. The same thing that we talk about every day, every week, when we go out on the corner, when we're in these classes, the same thing. There is effects to not having a man in the home. There are effects to a man being emasculated. There are effects to a man and a woman not having their proper positions. That's all this report was saying. So let's go back. This was so because segregation exacted a submissiveness that is surely more destructive to the male than to the female personality. Women are supposed to be naturally more submissive because men are supposed to be naturally more leaders. So to break down a man and make him more submissive, yes, that's going to have a greater effect on a man. That's all it's saying. Because keeping the Negro in his place can be translated as keeping the Negro male in his place, and the female was not a threat to anyone. They're saying this like a female not being a threat to anyone is insulting. That's the tone that this is written in. Here's the last one, Salaki. Says the Moynihan Report had a lasting negative impact on black women, essentially providing a justification for leaving them out of some racial justice interventions. It helps explain why President Obama, which whatever, he ain't helping us, but anyway, offered My Brother's Keeper as a program, but there was no equivalent My Sister's Keeper. Says it helps to understand why in today's racial justice movements, policing and mass incarceration, especially as those issues pertain to black males, get more attention than eviction, pay equality, or access to health care. So in this person's mind, and then it says issues that are particularly significant to black females. So in this person's mind, it should be equivalent. Eviction, pay equity, and access to health care is an equivalent issue to mass incarceration and policing. The absence of the man means less than the issues that our black women face. That's the tone of this article, and this is the deal. That was written by a black man this year. This is the proof that we are absolutely emasculated. Because you can have a black man write this and feel justified. feel right. This destroys our family. This encourages our sisters to believe that they do not need a man and not be aware that it continues to destroy our community. All right, with that, I'm gonna get to these security announcements. We over time. Slovakia. All right. Get stuff together. Not it. Slovakia, y'all. The water, sis. I appreciate the water. The water. The water, sis. Ryan, my rib. The water officer, y'all. I appreciate it. Can't wait for tomorrow's class, brother. All right, we had an ISUPK start at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers. When a new brother or sister, rule for new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to share themselves with the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak with the brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which that brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Oh, Slocky, let me take that down. Tithes, which is a commandment, you can find it in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10. It means tenth in the Hebrew is ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. You can give it to the treasury. You can also go to ISUPK.com. You can submit your tithes directly there through PayPal, all right? Priest fund. It's a free will offering to the priest. It's not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming Holy Convocation days is the Feast of, let me make sure I get it right. Come on. Feast of Dedication, Hanukkah. I believe it's December 7th through the 15th. All right. And then after that, there's the Feast of Purim and then Passover. Passover is coming. Make sure y'all are working on your Passover garments, your outfits, all that. Get everything planned out so you do not have any issues. All right. It's going to come faster than we expected, like everything else. All right. Let's see. And lastly, if any brother wants to become a trooper in the school, he needs to be wearing all black. That's black boots, pants, shirt, headband, and war scarf. Make sure you get in contact with the school in your area. If you are in Virginia, get in contact with Officer Salaki, Captain Natazak Mishai, or Officer Uriah Shamath. Let them know that that's what you want to do, and they will get you straight. All right. And with that, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Shabbat to the sisters. Shalom, Yahweh Shemar Alatan, Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Israel.